see if that worked. It's crazy talk.
And I need you, da 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 da, and I miss you, da 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 da, da 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 da. Oh, da 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 da. Are you excited?
What's that?
This is my favorite armbar. I really like it. It's super smooth and it's different than how everyone else does it. So it has a special place in my heart. Oh, that's cute. Is that yours?
Yeah.
That's cute. He got a cat. It's cute. Is that a kitten? That's a kitten.
It's a kitten. I don't know what these guys.
It's like a teenage. Right? This is how you show? Yes. What's his name? Artemis?
No, why would it be Artemis? That's a good name, actually.
It's
Not a bad name. No, think of it. Think of a name that 3 little girls would come up with for a white cat.
Elsa.
That's actually an excellent name, but it's a boy, so it wouldn't be.
Elsa.
Elsa. Are we? Okay, I think we are good. Let me just.
Katniss. Is it Katniss? Oh, they're too young for that, aren't they? It's named Elgato.
You know what I wanted to be?
Strength.
I don't know what that means.
It's like strength, but with a U. Are we gonna do this thing?
We are.
We go.
Just be patient. I gotta make sure that we're.
I thought you already did the sound check.
I did, but
That's why I was.
another one. I like to do multiple sound checks. I want to name everything. I think every animal should be called the same name.
Cat.
No.
Dog.
I had a cat once.
I knew a dog named D.O.G.
D.O.G. I like that one. Mr. Nibbles. I think every.
Mr. What?
Mr. Nibbles should be every.
Can you spell that?
Nibbles, not nipples. Nibbles.
You gotta enunciate, my friend.
Armlocks. Oh no, the cat's name is Mochi. Are we on frame here? Hold on.
You should scoot more towards me. Alright, so there's an armbar I really like to do because it allows us to really hurt the person on bottom while we do it.
What? Wait, what?
And by hurt, I mean make very uncomfortable, right? And it's good because we're able to use this elbow and this forearm to smash in our spinning armbar, right? Here, the classic way, I don't like it, right, is to step up here and then you're gonna turn your hips as low as you can and sit, right? This is garbage. Because you know how hard it is to turn your hips when your foot is here and your shins are this far off the mat, right? So stepping here is very, very difficult, or you gotta be very hip flexible to be able to pull this off without leaving any space, right? So I fixed it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So instead of stepping, right, we can step up here just for a moment, but what we wanna do is we wanna swing into the position here with our leg, right? So I plant my hand here, so this leg is light. I'm gonna pick it up, and instead of stepping, this knee comes, whoop, and my hand catches. And it was the I'm scooping his arm here. My hand's gonna catch my hip, and I'm gonna pinch here, right? And if he keeps his arms to let go, I can grab it and finish it. It's great.
You want to do that from another angle so they can see. Let's go.
They'll figure it out.
No, let's go this way. I like multiple angles. Let's go.
That's
And
the
then you're on this
same
side.
thing. Oh, okay. I can do it on both sides.
I'm directing here. I'm the director. I'm the producer and the director. You're the talent, so that means you're good.
And we're driving here with the rims, we can change our angle, right? Once I'm able to get my knee here, right? I'm at this angle, I'm gonna bring my knee up, it catches into my hand, and then when I sit back, I'm making sure that my forearm is behind my legs, right? None of this nonsense with the elbow dropping here, right? Because I wanna connect my upper body to my lower body, my arms to my legs, because my arms are really weak, right? And so if I only use my arms to hold on to this stuff, right, he's gonna be able to turn and pull his elbow down, he's gonna hat rack me, right? A whole bunch of weird stuff, right? So instead what I wanna do is I wanna make sure that my arms are supported by my legs, right? So my elbows here, right, are behind my legs, right? What are these leg bones? Femurs, my femurs, right? And I'm pinching here, right? It's not the pinching like a classic armbar where we're doing it to isolate the shoulder. The pinching is just to make sure that my elbow here and my wrist can stay attached to my legs here, right? If I'm out here and he defends and pulls and does a bunch of stuff, right, he'll be out. All right, so while we're here, this hand is connected to my hip, my elbow is pulled back, right? And then from here, if he stays down like this, right, I wanna get my other leg over, right? So right now it's stuck under him because I do super tight, great arm bars and my foot was under here, and now I'm not just gonna be able to pull this out, right? So what I need to do is I need to expose the leg, and I wanna fall towards the head side, right? So as I fall, I'm gonna switch my arm grip here, right? That way I can fall to my elbow, and now I'm gonna pinch my leg and throw this little guy up and over here, right? And this is where we'll set up our nice leg hat if we want, right? But just make sure that you have good control over this elbow, right? And nice and tight and underneath this arm space.
Oh, I'm in the gym, I feel good. Just toss you off. That
Yeah.
doesn't sound right. Sorry. Don't cut that.
So, we want to keep his elbows out of the equation, right? If we let him dig under here, this is no good. He's gonna make space, he's gonna be able to escape with it, right? So when I get into my armbar position, I lean towards the head side here to expose the space under his arms, and now I'm underneath it, he's not gonna be able to dig under there as effectively, right? You might have to fight a little bit depending on the person, right? So if he like gets under there, then I'm probably gonna try and dig it back out, or like,
It's hard to do it with your
yeah, so
arm.
there's gonna be like a little foot fight, right? And if you lose it and you're here, right, I can always reopen up that space, right, by planting my foot next to his hip, and now I'm gonna use my leg to push. And if he wants to keep this arm from being armbarred, he's gonna keep this connected with this other arm here, right? And I'm using my strength, right, to push myself towards his head, right? My legs are engaged, so it's not like I'm just leaning this way, right? I'm driving with my legs, and that'll pull up his arms, and I can get under the space, and I can leg hat him, right? And then from here, we can start opening up this arm.
I think the real secret to your arm lock is the fact that whatever these tendons are right here, you have really sharp ones. I don't know if sharp is not the right word.
Like right over your.
You're like, there's a lot of tendon right across your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not, or right around my eye.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's gross. Alright, so, being really tight here, as we're coming up, I catch my knee, boom, right? Yeah, if he leaves it open, we're gonna try and get it here, and then we get the arm bar, right? Normally, right, we're here, if he's pausing, right, now I'm gonna switch my grip to the left hand so that now I can lean towards the head side here and throw my leg over this space. Right, and then from here, we can start breaking down the grip and finishing. But, right, as we talked about, we don't have the leg over the body, right? So if he does nothing, it's not a problem because we have a step to fix the leg over the body problem. That'll kind of shut down his options for doing the hitchhiker escape. But if a person's like, if he knows what's going on, right, he's going to immediately take advantage of the fact that you don't have that hip control here. So when we sit, right, we've got to be prepared to go to the next thing. And what we want is when he rolls over, that's my head side leg. I'll have to try again. I think it's the head side leg. is going to find his hip, right? And we're going to maintain the Kimura grip, or at least like the grenade pin arm in there. Oh, it's not here. Right, so as we step over, he goes, right? This foot is going to find his hip as he comes up. So he goes, right? Boom. And now I'm going to look for the Kimura grip, and I'm in my strong Kimura, foot on hip Kimura, right? And here I can either try and dig this arm out if he leaves it unprotected. Otherwise, I'll usually invert, rule, and try and put it back.
This is no good. But arm, well, yeah, but now you have that grip.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're not in the same exact position again. I'm not going to roll out again.
Usually I'll try and switch that grip as you roll and as I'm putting my foot on the hip, because it's a better grip to have. So usually, yeah, the person is going to defend away. And if we are strong, we can start pulling this out and then attacking there. Or we have this whole, coming up under here, and we're trying to dig out.
No, that's nice. There's a couple of different things you can do in there.
Yeah,
depending on whether I duck my head or, let's do it from this side. Is it this side? So that now they'll see the other side. Yeah, but now you already have it.
Yeah, I switched it there.
So go back.
But you can still.
Well, do that next. Do that next. Do that next.
It's the same thing.
It's not the same.
I just fixed the grip problem. So, because the issue is if I get my Kimura here, right, people still escape if I sit back on this armbar. Because I still don't have my leg over the head.
So then they start turning really tight, or they go this way?
Oh,
I see.
Right, and then here's where we find it.
I see.
And that just takes away. Because the first way.
I can still roll on it, or hitchhiker. It's just now you have a much. You're already into that Kimura.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
And you, like you could do it, but I wanted to close that gap.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, if we get the Kimura here, right, one thing that I like to do is step up with the foot and then sit back. Right. If I can stay tight, I can finish it. But if he comes up, right, I got my foot on the hip, and now I can either keep going, right, or I have like triangle options here as well, depending on where my arm is.
But then once you have the triangle, you also have you can start pulling that arm.
Yeah.
Right.
But usually, if there's momentum and I catch it in time, I like to flip up and over.
I don't know. They couldn't see that Kimura bit. Butt to the camera, buddy. Butt to the camera. So I don't think they could see when they went. Yeah. So here you already put the no, go back, and now you're doing the Kimura.
Okay.
Right from the beginning.
I wanted to try the weird one. Alright, so up here, I get the Kimura, step up.
Go this way.
Here. Yeah, it's weird, right?
I can't. I don't even know what I'm doing. So I guess I gotta go.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find this foot and this hip here.
Yeah, this hip is like, or the foot and the hip. This is not good. Yeah, this is not my head. I like how you put it right over the
face.
Right on the. It's not just a face. You get it like right. It's like a blindfold, right across here. It's not too high that it's going to slip off. It's not too low that it's just like the person's actually going to be able to kind of, if they're big, strong, like big neck.
Yeah.
It's like right here, and it just like.
I want to show the detail for that because there's an important thing. So
might have to turn a little bit more.
Oh, I escaped. And we're here.
So let's turn a little bit.
All right. So when we go and invert on this, right? Foot on the hip, up and over here, right? Sometimes if we have enough momentum, just the weight of our legs will pull him over. But if he's based and really strong here, right? What I want to do is I'm reaching for his face here, right? And I need to make sure he can't stack me up, right? Because if I'm loose with my hips and my legs, yeah, he's going to be here, right? However, when I get my leg over the face, what I like to do is I like to find his face and pinch it with my leg. And now I'm going to open my knee up. right? So what happens is I'm trying to get his head to hold back, and it'll be a lot easier to get a person, stop them from stacking you, even if they've really got it in, right? Once you're able to open up that face.
And you're also sideways, you're not flat on your back, which is a big difference, right? I mean, it sounds like it's not that you're like,
I'm not stacked.
you're not in a position that it's easy to stack you. You're in that kind of, you're like posting on your shoulder, and you're kind of sideways or diagonal.
It's like that belly down armbar position.
Or the, you know, like for the 50-50, when you're in 50-50, person stands up and you stay straight, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what that's called, but
like, yeah.
You have that, like your body is in a position where I can't just like push down,
Yeah.
right, and stack you up. Whereas if you're on your back in that moment, then
Yeah.
the person's gonna stack you.
Yeah, if I let you stack me, it's gonna be bad. I can still recover if I get a good face grip.
Right.
But if I don't manage to get a good one, it's gonna be really hard for me.
I'm trying to think I'll try to do it this way too. Oh, you wanna do this side?
I'm gonna try and make this not look like garbage. There we go. So we sit, and we're here, and then controlling here, up and over.
Oh, that's nice.
Alright, so now I want to find his face. Alright, so you can even hide it,
I know I can, but it's not gonna be any better for me.
If you
I wanna
hide
show
it-
that, I wanna make them see so they can see
I
where
mean,
we are.
even if you do hide it, you can hide your face, right? We're
No,
gonna
you
dig it
dig
out here, right? And now clamp whatever I can get and open up, right? And just make sure you don't slam their head on the floor.
No.
To make sure you only purposefully slam their head on the floor if you're gonna do it.
Let's go. You wanna go this way? A couple different angles.
Oh, this one's weird. There we go.
I'm not sure we're still. That is super nasty right
I
here.
like this.
This is not nice.
We get the foot on the hip, and then there's space underneath that we can finish the Kimura. And then, can we do one where you stack me up a little bit?
Yeah.
At the end?
I don't know if I can stack you up a little bit, but. You're letting me go over. So here, and you're saying like, let's say I'm
So
managing it
if
here.
we're stacked here, right, I'm still gonna look for his
Wow.
face. Still gonna open him up. You have to be very assertive with that little face grip.
You're kind of blatant.
Yeah. But if you can avoid getting stacked up, it's the best path, I think.
Let me do it to you. So you're here, and you step over. Here, and you're gonna go, and then I want to put my foot right here,
Yeah.
right in the hip, and then I want to get this Kimura, right?
And then what I want is try and get this to
Connected.
save it.
Right.
So if you can keep that from happening.
That's good. But if not, let's say you protect it. Now before you stood up and then you invert, or you sat up, is that what it is, or do I?
You can invert here. So you want to tuck underneath. Your head is going to come this way. Yeah. Keep going, keep going.
To here?
Yeah, this is going to try and find my face.
Yeah, but I'm already.
So you want this knee?
Here.
Yeah.
And then I want to get.
Yeah. Here.
And I want to get over your eye.
Okay.
Huh?
Gross.
What?
I got your tendon in my mouth. Those.
Oh, how's that feel, Kevin?
Not
Is
fun.
that unpleasant?
It's not what I wanted. Right, but
Little tendon soup? Yeah, now you know what it feels like.
keep this tight.
Oh, but I like it because you're already like out here ready to rip the person's shoulder clean off. Oh, is that tendon uncomfortable, Kevin? Really? You don't say. And it's sweaty too, right? You know, I just took 25 like reps with that. I only complained once. It wasn't even a complaint, it was a compliment.
Look at my pants.
What about it? Actually, it's actually more unpleasant with the pants because then you get the fabric against the eye.
Yeah.
At least
but
with
it's
my
better when it goes in your mouth.
sweaty knee pits, you get a little lubrication.
Gross. I feel like I'm got my teeth brushed. All right, let's do this thing. Gross.
You're welcome. You got your teeth brushed? Well, I guess that's why.
It's gross.
I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Are we doing jiu-jitsu now? So here.
Yeah.
But this is bad.
Why?
Is this bad?
Why? What's wrong with this?
All right. So then what are you gonna do? You go.
So here is where I go.
And you just step
Yeah.
here.
And then see how you're like, if you keep going here, right, you can use this.
And we go
push
back.
you over. Yeah.
But now I want to be
Mhm.
here. I don't like this. Get this away. Step on there.
Yeah, so,
We're all just
you know, if you can stay tight on the Kimura and time it and anticipate it, then you really have a lot of momentum to work with to complete that rotation.
Let me try one more.
Up and over.
Go on this side. Here, can you turn your head towards the camera? Sure. Sorry. So here, you step, right?
Yeah. And then keep going there. All the way around.
Ah.
Yeah, see how this knee comes up tight and in here?
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You gotta work on that. I have to work on that. And the hardest part of this is the inverting it.
Yeah. The leg can get a little bit weird, and it's unpredictable because the person on top has the option to kind of either have it under this space or they can take their arm and they can go over here. So I often have trouble because I would like to do that inversion with my leg already over your face and it's just there, but sometimes it's in your armpit.
Yeah, yeah.
And in that case, you can transition into the triangle, I think, from there.
Let me try. Okay, wait, now I want to drill this. It's so.
I'll try and keep good momentum so you have something to work with.
Here, I step over.
Here's the thing.
This is the problem here.
It's a lot of space.
That's the. And then I wanna.
And this, see how your foot is making you come far away? Yeah, you want to be here and then so more face.
I know, but I'm trying to be nice to you because I'm a nice person.
You can be nice.
And then you just complain for 10 minutes about.
Well, just like open it up and then right before their head hits the ground, just like don't.
You just go to the arm lock for a second. So I would have already switched to here, right? So I'm already on this side. I want to. And so this is where.
So here, if it's under the armpit here,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll take it out and then get it in front of the face. But here, once it's clamped, and it's got to be a strong clampity.
Right.
Yeah, and then open it up.
Yeah, that is so vicious and mean. But I think the hard part for me is that putting the foot on the hip is not a problem. Doing the inversion, that's going to be the challenge.
I think.
I think for the people watching at home.
Can I try again?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like as soon as I go here, my bottom foot is popping my hips up, right? And then I'll go around, and you see I took my leg out, right? So I'm like able to drive my knees in here,
Yeah.
but then I want to reach over the head. So I think if you take your feet out and don't have them on my hip, it'll help you stay tighter in that space. Because last time you kept the foot on,
Yeah.
it kind of pushes you away.
Right, you can't do both, can you? You can't push and invert and close the space. Is that not how it works?
Correct.
So we're here, and then I want to swing in here.
Yeah, so really try and like pull your hips up and into this armbar position as much as you can. And then you can adjust this foot over the face.
So I might even
So
be
usually like I'm
here, like almost like an inverted arm lock.
Yeah.
Right? And then actually the more you come up, it seems like it's easier to take you over in a way.
To a point.
To a point, right?
If you let me stack you up too much, it's going to be hard to do it. But I think as long as you're able to get their neck to go up, then you should be able to put them back on their back.
Yeah.
But good people are going to hide. It's going to be hard to get that, the head clamped.
Yeah.
So sometimes it ends up just you rolling through, trying to search for it.
That's cool. I gotta drill that.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, the Kimura is weird because like usually you want to stay like super clamped up on it, but for this transition, right? You got to give yourself a little bit of space by letting it wander out. You give yourself a little bit.
Are you pushing out?
It's more like a tricep extension because what I want when I'm doing it is either turn arm into your left arm. It's my favorite arm. Right. So when I want to move around here. Right, because normally I want to be squished in and shrugging and pulling my elbows back and making sure that there's no way that he can get this elbow down to the ground, because that's going to be his goal, get his elbow down through here, right? But if I do this and I stay super tight, I don't have any space to move, right? So if he does something like this and I try and stay tight on him, right? Go ahead, do stuff. Do the rollover to the thing, right? It's not enough.
It's not gonna be that easy though.
Yeah, it's just like if I don't give myself room, I'm kind of stuck here. Right. So when I want to move around, right? Again, we still need to focus on elbow control, but when I extend here, instead of having physical blocking things, my chest blocking the space, my focus goes on keeping this arm bent and keeping this arm at an acute angle, pulling this wrist down below the elbow. Right, I cannot let it come up to here because you'll be able to rip it out immediately. So I need to keep this
So you're straightening this arm so that pushes there, and you're pushing my wrist down.
And I'm also doing this wand movement, right? If I'm casting a spell with just my wrist, right?
Armborkius.
Double, I don't know if it's pronation, but you're revving the motorcycles, right? Because you just want everything locked up here, right? And now when you move, if you go this way, I can give myself space to follow, and then I can make my connection. And once I get my legs and my hips where I want them, then I can pull that back in and lock it up back into my elbows. That's my favorite.
You kick him in the face first, right?
Well, usually I smash their face down.
No, but why not? Why don't you just like shin them in the face?
Because I want to be able to do it fast. So pushing it down means I don't have to worry about kicking them in the face and having the match stopped. So here, over.
See, this is the part that I always have trouble with.
I think about driving your knee into this space instead of having your foot here.
Go back. Okay, so knee.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta practice this inversion drill. I'm wondering if there's a way to practice this. So sorry. Here. Yeah. So, but here I'm like all sorts of.
This I don't want. This should be across or in front of the face, and then this is
falling apart here. I don't know.
Let's try. We could do it from what's it called? Kimura trap, right? So can I borrow you in your Kimura trap here? Alright, so I have my nice Kimura, right? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll to your left, just like you did to escape, right? And I'm gonna follow.
So you're rolling almost like the opposite direction.
Yeah. And then I get connected here, right? And I can start.
Oh, then you dig it out. I see. Okay.
Oh, that's what I want.
All right. So Kimura trap. This Kimura trap side here. I think. Maybe. So we're here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll this way. And you're gonna roll.
Am I gonna roll
up? And you're gonna pull up and in. Yeah.
Here. But do I want the foot in the hip or no?
Not for this one.
Okay. So then I'm just here.
If you're rolling through. So now.
So I just keep my knees clamped. Is that right?
And now you want to find the face, and then you're gonna roll the other.
Ah, I see. Then I re-roll back. I see. So there's actually two, like an inversion and then a reversion.
For this one, because I think.
But do you have to do that for the armbar too?
No, I think it's all going in the same direction for the armbar. So if I'm here, and I sit and you go, right? So I'm gonna find right here. up and over here.
Alright.
So yeah, right. So if I'm here, right. So I got my foot on the hip, and this isn't doing anything useful. All right. I want to get my hips up and get super close.
So you're really getting your hips into this.
Yeah. Like either both feet keeping like hooked on your back, and my shins in super deep and pinched, and then from here I can start digging. Yeah. Right. But I think here's.
I see.
A good place.
I'm just gonna go here, and you want to sorry. So now you're gonna go, and I want to go. Oh, and I just want to be here.
Yeah. But see how this is like calf? You want knee pit. So reach with it. Reach.
Here?
Connect. Yeah. Reach. Clamp.
I see. So that one's easy. That one's like much easier than the Kimura trap one. But I see where you're trying to get up onto your shoulder.
Yeah, and like following, and then giving yourself space to move around, and then using the Kimura to move yourself into the position that you want.
It's almost like I'm using your momentum to carry me over. So can I try one more time? So it's like before I felt like I kind of stalled out there. You know, like I was trying to stall here, right? And so then I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if I'm on this shoulder, now it's hard.
It's very uncomfortable, and if the person that's a good place for me to start stacking you up.
So go back for a sec. And just see if I can recreate this in a way.
Ooh, you could start even. You could try it with two in like this.
But I like this because this is more a realistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like situation. So as we go, I'm actually in this position already.
Yeah.
Right?
This is your focus point here. But here, I would go up higher on the face.
Yeah, I'm trying not to. So then I can really. So
but here again, open up. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So my knees are coming apart there.
Like a butterfly.
I see.
Because a lot of people have the tendency to like.
Yes, that's what I was trying to do.
And it's easy for me to resist that, but once you open up this way, like I don't have any really strong.
It's funny because, generally you're like I always seem to recall like this is the really strong movement.
Yeah. It is.
And this is like the weak movement,
Yeah.
But in this situation, this being able to, I don't know if this is what they call the different abduction and adduction. I don't know which one it is, but it's like the flaring of the knees, even though it's not the strong movement, is the one that works.
It's because here you have such a long lever, and I'm pushing it right at the tangential line at the end of it, and I've just got a really good.
It's math. Tangential line. Is that geometry? What is that? Is that Euclidean or non-Euclidean geometry?
Calculus?
I don't know.
Where it's like when you're trying to break something, like with Americanos, right? You have to picture. What's this bone? It's a bone.
Humerus?
This one, humerus, sure.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe not. I don't know.
It is the what's it called? The radius of a circle, right? And his elbow. If you put a crayon on it, it would draw a circle, right, all the way around as he, was flexible. So when we're applying force here, right, the strongest or the most leverage that we're going to have is going to be always at the tangential line to the drawn circle here, right? It's the line that's straight across, right? So when you're applying things, your line of force is going to have to adjust, right? So we want to walk things around in circles to maintain the strongest thing.
So wait, are you telling me that Jiu-Jitsu is based on like math and leverage and not just on like magic?
I think it's all coincidental that it works out like that.
it's anyway.
I mean,
you're busting it down. You're breaking it down right now.
Helio didn't sit there and like.
He got out his protractor and his compass and.
It just so happens that
slide rule.
There's a mathematical reason for this to work. Anyway, so we're hopping up. We're here. I'm following.
That's so nice. Yeah. Because you already have that momentum already kind of generating from me.
Yeah, and then as I go
spinning.
down, I want to pop.
Yeah.
And I can kind of into your face with my leg there.
Oh, because you put your foot down and then you kind of explode.
And it helps.
Or push through.
It helps get over that hump, I think, of going. Because once we get here, it's like sometimes we get stuck. But
Yeah. Got a little bit ice.
Yeah.
or whatever it is that's properly called.
It's a hip heist.
Is that what it's called?
That's what I've been telling all the kids. Oh, this one. That's what Aubrey told me to say.
So you're making me self-conscious about my knee pit.
I should get my
sweat.
mask. Can I get my mask?
No, because I've been your Uki in a million of these, and I never got a mask.
Pants. Anyway.
So then I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh. This is actually so awesome. This is so cool because you've caught me this a million times over the years. And what's cool about this, it's such an honor. What's really cool about this is that it's, people are going to turn and spin, and they're just walking right into this. You must feel like this is like, hey, no problem.
I love that foot on the hip Kimura. It's great.
Yeah.
And I love this move because when I was working with the Kimura, to me, like, being able to rotate under and catch that face and put him back down to that armbar was like, the pinnacle of flashy, fancy, needlessly.
A lot of times, I say this to people a lot, and I try to live what I preach, practice what I preach, but you get to the position, you have an arm lock, and you're like, this feels great, but then there's always that moment where the person's going to defend, right? And this is a classic hitchhiker defense. The person goes, and then you're like, I want to stop them, right? I want to stop that movement. And maybe that works when maybe you're as big or maybe just stronger or bigger than your training partner, but if you're not as strong as your training partner, they're going to take you through. And so if you're trying to stop them, it's probably playing into their hands more than it's helping you.
If you try and stop them, all it's going to do is disrupt your connection between the two of them. It's going to break that control that I have. And when instead I could follow you and still have the super strong Kimura and end up in an armbar position. And
it's demoralizing if I'm the person who just did the whole escape thinking, oh, I'm on my knees now. I feel pretty good. Now it's time to stack and get out of here. Yeah. But no, now I might get my brain knocked up, across the mat again. And now I'm back in the beginning, and you got to start. If you even have time to think, like, is that worth it to do that again? Because that's not fun to get your head Pez dispensered up. Yeah. And your head bounced off the mat. Yeah. Right? And your arm is no better for all that, right? Your shoulder is still way up here like this. Yeah. Yeah, you might rethink whether you want to keep doing jiu-jitsu in that moment. I've been like, what is happening? That's pretty cool. And if you want to be really nasty with your training partners, you let them get up. Yeah, and then put them back down. And then you put them back down. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the Kimura trap and all these Kimuras aren't like infallible. And this thing was something that I developed because that was like a major hole that people were exploiting in my game. Because I would always end up falling towards that head side, and I was just like putting too much momentum into that direction. Once I started using the Kimura as a way to keep myself connected and not being so focused on attacking all the time or using it as a finishing thing, it just gave me a place in jiu-jitsu where I was comfortable in pretty much every position that we have. And I thought that was really beneficial. And then once I started really using it, just like you use the single leg X and all the leg entanglements, right? Like you stay connected, and no matter where you go, you can, or where the other person goes, you can just follow them. Yeah. And you don't have to expend so much energy, and you can kind of just wait for them to make a mistake or to tire out or whatever. And for me, like this Kimura or all of the Kimuras were that. Where I could be in this place and branch off from there. When's your DVD instructional coming out? Coach Kevin? Once I organize my thoughts. But yeah, especially transitioning from gi to no gi. This Kimura game is, it's universal amongst all types of grappling. Like, unless you're rolling with someone without arms or with little stubby little nubs, Kimura is something that can be useful for everyone, kind of in any situation. And for the ones that's not, that's why you have single leg X. And if you just have single leg X in a fire Kimura game, you're gonna make it through 99% of people. Yeah, no, I think that I think there, like you said, there's a hole in your game that you use this or you came up with this to remedy. I think it's a hole in a lot of people's games where they have, and it's not just the Kimura, but you have these finishing situations, and you think of like, well, it's an arm lock and I can finish, or it's a Kimura and I can finish, or whatever it is, or it's a leg lock and I can finish. But if all you're doing is focusing on that finish, when people defend and they try to escape in the traditional ways, right? Hitchhiker escape has been around forever. If all you're doing is trying to hold on and maintain that position instead of going with it in some way, then you're going to wind up losing a lot. And then you think this doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think this is true a lot for the arm locks. How often do I really trust myself? I get on top. I passed the guard, or I took somebody down, or whatever it was, and now I'm on top and I can attack that arm. How many times in my experience have I not done the arm lock?
Yeah.
Because hey, this guy's a little bit bigger. I don't really trust that I'm going to be able to maintain the arm lock, and do I want to sit here and fight over it? And get tired, and then this guy's just going to blow up and get on top of me and stack me, and then and so then you hesitate, and then you're not going to finish because you're hesitating, right? And then that gives that guy fuel or time to think and escape. You know what I mean? So
every strategy, every game, every plan is going to have a hole in it, right? There's no holeless jujitsu, right? It's just I like to think of my jujitsu as a bunch of holes sewn together, right? It makes a nice, useful net.
Oh! Look at Kevin is on fire today.
Actually, I was thinking your game's gonna have a hole, right? But the best thing that you can do is be aware of that hole and use it as a funnel, right? And you can
a funnel. There are two holes in a funnel, right?
Well, isn't it just the one hole that goes?
Well, it's like a cylinder, right?
Yeah.
But so a cylinder has two holes.
There's one big hole. It's long. It's a long hole, right?
That's a tube.
There's a top and a
but
bottom.
there's a top and a bottom hole. You can take a tube.
Hole.
No, you can make it a test tube, right? Because then you can have a cylinder with one opening.
But then it wouldn't be a funnel though.
That's what I'm saying. There's two
that's
openings.
A bucket. That's a weirdly shaped bucket.
Or a test tube or something like that,
Yeah.
right? All I'm saying is it's a funnel, right? It's a hole, but you're
It's
using
useful.
the hole. I like this metaphor.
You know where people can go, and where they can go just leads them into other places.
Turn the holes in your game into funnels. Man,
how profound.
This is some deep stuff. I've been doing jiu-jitsu a long time, and this stuff,
I like the net metaphor.
The net is also excellent. What is net but just a whole bunch of holes sewn together? That is some deep stuff.
No, it's not.
We should just stop there. Nothing you say from here on out is going to be better than that. So let's we'll hold off for today.
Who said that?
What's that?
Net is a bunch of holes. Is that a young thing?
It reminds me of somebody once told me that he liked watching football because it was like people fighting over a bag of wind. And it's kind of a similar.
A wind bag.
It's a wind bag.
Yeah.
But I like the holes as a net. That's some deep stuff right there.
A net funnel net.
I don't know, but I mean a net is kind of like a bazillion funnels.
Yeah. Well,
a net would not work if you didn't have. Then it would just be a sail. A net wouldn't work. Like you wouldn't catch much with just like a cloth with no. What would happen? Fish would swim around it, or they'd be pushed by it. They wouldn't become entangled in it.
But I don't know, because I would say that there's more about jiu-jitsu that I don't know than I know. But I don't know if what I do know is best represented as the holes in my jiu-jitsu. I think my jiu-jitsu is the stuff around the holes. My jiu-jitsu would be my techniques, my awareness of stuff and what's going on, and my ability to do stuff. There's less of that than there are holes, but there's still enough where I can kind of do useful stuff and I can catch the fish with it.
I like the idea of the trap. It makes me think of the bear trap. Why does a bear or wolf trap work? Well, you've got to get the animal to step on the trap. You don't if you have a gun, you shoot the thing, right?
Yeah.
But if you can't close that distance, then you have to somehow entice the animal to come and step on the trap. And that is a lot like jiu-jitsu, right? And the net is a similar thing in the sense of it doesn't seem like much, right? You say, well, would you rather have a net to catch fish or
a sail.
Or a spear gun. You'd be like, well, spear guns are cool,
Yeah.
but
Spear
I'd
guns
rather
are
have a net. You're gonna catch more fish with a net than a spear gun, for sure. Better volume proposition.
I had a thought,
Uh-oh.
and then it escaped me.
You know, we got a hole in the net. You can have a hole in the net too, like a bigger hole.
Yeah, good to let the dolphins out.
Hmm?
To let the dolphins
To
out.
I guess to let the dolphins out.
Man, I forget what that thought was. What else were we talking about?
Holes, funnels, nets, bear traps, wolf
Bear
traps.
Oh yeah, the idea that, you know, you're gonna have to give a little bit of yourself to get a person where you end up stuck in someone's closed guard for like the entire round or 20 minutes if it's a no time limit match, and neither of you budge and you just sit there grunting and nothing happening for that time. But
That's a win for me.
well, it depends on like what your strategy is.
No,
context.
no, that's
Yeah.
true. It's true. You have two people they don't do it. They do.
Sometimes that is a win.
That's
you know?
like those are like regular matches.
I mean, if I'm going with someone who's really intimidating and I can keep them kind of shut down, for me that will be a win. But usually that happens when both people aren't confident enough to put forward the cost of play. You gotta put a little bit of yourself out there, what do they call it? Priming the well. If you want stuff to happen for you, you need to risk giving this cup of water to make sure that the well will start. So I don't know. That's just like my mindset. Like when I'm playing, I want to give them something to react to, and from there, we can play with something. And I try and do the same thing generally every time in each position, so that I can develop a common reaction that I understand that most people do, or like the reaction to the reaction. But like, don't be afraid to take a little risk.
Gotta give to get.
Yeah, like put a little bit of yourself out there, and then
Don't be
take your
shy,
hit.
right?
It's a dangerous game
You
because
gotta ask.
you gotta be willing to die, like not like literal death, but you gotta be willing to be caught, and you just gotta tread that.
If you're not willing to get caught, jiu-jitsu is not the right.
Yeah.
You will always be limited to whatever skills that you bring in, right? So if you're, there are guys that are big, strong, or like maybe not necessarily that big or strong, but maybe they're just, I've met rock climbers that are not big, but they have like these grips and they just can hold you, but they're not doing anything either, right? And so you're gonna limit your ability to learn jiu-jitsu if you're not willing to get tapped.
If you're not doing stuff, then you're not gaining experience. If you spend every 5-minute round doing nothing but being strong, then that's what your jiu-jitsu is gonna be. So take some risks. Again, like don't do it at a tournament. Like have a game plan, do the game plan. But when you're training, you should try and put yourself out there. And I know I don't do that.
You do.
I'm full of crap.
You do.
But
You always put yourself out there.
I want to be the guy who is willing to take a risk for the sake of having something beautiful happen.
Some beautiful jitsu.
Beautiful jiu-jitsu, man. That's what life's all about.
Thank you, Coach Kevin. I learned something today.
Me too.
That's it.